Welcome along, everybody. Welcome to this Sunday evening where we're going to be able to share about an incredible new wearable light therapy, a new health technology that is changing outcomes phenomenally. It's a wearable light therapy patch that regenerates your dormant stem cells. And this is what we're talking about. It's the X39. And for the less than a cup of coffee, it will reset your body, your genes. It'll elevate our peptide, the GHK copper peptide, which then sends off a chain reaction, reactivates your dormant stem cells, and allows your body to heal itself. So my name is Chris Boone.
And I'm Andrea Phillips.
So look, we're really fired up to be able to share tonight. And look, our journey with LifeWave and the X39 goes back to November last year, where I'd seen a friend over a course of 20 years, his health declined steadily because he had psoriatic arthritis since 1990. If you don't know what that is, it's sort of a type of arthritis, inflammation in the joints. It actually just shuts down his body. He was on prednisone. It's a horrible drug because it tends to, you put on weight with that. But he needed that just to get by in his daily life. So fast forward that, and then I came upon him at a function. Ross is his name, his wife Linda. They were the people that introduced us to this incredible technology, and he was looking so good. And I said, "Look at you, mate. You look fantastic. What have you been doing?" And he said, "Look, I've been patched," and I had no idea what I've been patched meant. And so he proceeded to tell me. He showed me this little patch on the back of his neck. And he said, "That's given me all my energy back." He said, "My psoriasis is gone. I couldn't even walk up and down stairs. I can run up and down those stairs." And I'm thinking, "Oh, that sounds pretty cool," but still nothing registered. But as he started to talk, continue on with the conversation, I thought, "Oh, I wonder if this could help my daughter, Caitlin, who was struggling with some endometriosis and some other issues." And being a good Kiwi bloke, he said, "I don't know. Ask Linda." That's his wife. And so we asked Linda, and then Linda said, "Look, I've got some friends coming in from Australia." And this was February now, and they're going to be launching this technology into New Zealand. "Would you like to come along?" And I said, "Yeah, look, I'd love to." So I took Caitlin along and we sat into the presentation. And look, I was just blown away. I just thought, this is phenomenal. If this technology is as quarter as good or as half as good as they say it is, I'd be a fool not to use it. And so, and that's where we got to. Yeah, I brought it back to Andrea, and you were
very skeptical. And I'm thinking, and he was so excited. I'm thinking, what drug is he on? Because it's just like he was so excited about it. And I'm the skeptical one out of the two of us, and I wasn't at the meeting. So I did a little bit of Googling, and saw the testimonials, and I thought, well, we've got to try this.
Yeah. I think that's because I just said, "Hey, it's fantastic. It's going to do this and this." And you said, "So how's it work?" So I don't know, but it's going to do this and this. So hence the conversation. So look, guys, what are we going to do right now for the next 30 minutes? We're going to go through the presentation that Tessa Tremaine went through with us originally. And then we're going to stop and we're going to bring Ray on, and he's going to share currently what is happening, some incredible health outcomes that he had some blood tests, some blood works done, and it's just showing the change it's made to him since we're in the X39. So this is what we're talking about. We're talking about, have you been patched? We're talking about elevating that copper peptide, as I said, which then activates or elevating this copper peptide, which activates your dormant stem cells. And then that allows your body to regenerate and be able to put it in an environment where it can heal itself the way it used to do when you were a lot younger. But we're also going to talk about, as we go through, the incredible business opportunity that's powering this, that's driving this whole thing. So probably the easiest way, just to set the scene, I just want to play a 3-minute video. It'll set the scene. If it's a little bit clunky, I apologize, because we're coming through a PowerPoint presentation, but I'll just play this now.
In a world searching for answers, one discovery is changing everything. A patch, no bigger than a quarter, built not to treat symptoms, but to wake up the healer inside you. This is X39, a wearable, light-activated patch. Designed by David Schmidt, an inventor with over 200 patents. His mission? To reverse aging naturally. This isn't science fiction. It's stem cell activation without injections, without pills. Your body repairing itself. The results? Life-changing energy, recovery, sleep, relief. And the medical world? It's taking notice. Still skeptical? Visit thisisitinfo.com. You'll find the studies, the patents, the proof. It's all there. But there's more. This tiny patch isn't just transforming lives, it's creating freedom. Because behind it is a business model built for the bold. Real people, real results. Income that scales with impact. And here's why. Because this breakthrough technology is patented and exclusive, it offers a lucrative business plan that allows you to compound your efforts. More people than ever are struggling in today's economy. You can no longer rely on your own sweat equity alone to make a living. This business model allows you to duplicate yourself and, even better, to benefit from other people's efforts. So your income no longer depends solely on you. By duplicating yourself over and over, the income potential is far greater than a conventional job, career, or profession. And you're never alone. The This Is It system gives you the tools, the path, the team. All you have to do is start. The question is no longer if it works, it's whether you'll act or let this moment pass. Will you keep waiting or finally feel your body come alive again? Will you stay financially stuck or build something that lasts? Isn't it time to start living life on your own terms? The This Is It action plan will set you on a path to live out the dreams you have for your family. Get back with the person who shared this video so you can experience the age-reversing health and the exciting lifestyle that thousands are already enjoying. This is the technology, this is the team, and this is your moment. This is it.
So here we have David Schmidt. He is the CEO, inventor, the scientist of X39. As it said in the slide, he has over 200 patents. He's a scientist and inventor. He specializes in age reversing. And in 2008, David focused his attention on the stem cell research, which Chris will explain a little bit about. And his recent patent took him 10 years and $4.5 million US to bring to the market.
And so it's a patented technology, and that is really important on two fronts. Firstly, from a business perspective, because when it's patented and nobody can copy it. I mean, there is some knockoffs out there you can see on eBay or Amazon, but they are knockoffs, they are fakes, they do not work. So the only place that you can access this technology is through a brand partner and through LifeWave. The other important thing about being patented, you actually, to get a US patent, you actually have to prove that what you're patenting does what it says it does. So you can't just say, hey, I've got this great idea, we're going to reactivate dormant stem cells, or we're going to elevate a GHK. Can we patent that? No. You actually have to prove, scientifically that it works. So his patent proved that the X39 will, and here's part of the wording, embodiments as a result of elevating copper peptide, including activation of stem cells, improvement in energy, elevation of antioxidants. And so, you go there, sorry.
So why X39? So it's when we're born, we have all these stem cells, and so, but as we get older, our stem cells become dormant. So by the age of 30, we only have 50% of our stem cells which are actually active, and at 60, less than 10% of our stem cells are active. And so by the time we get to 80, there's hardly any there at all. So it's the stem cells that wake up every organ in our body. And at the moment, for a lot of us, they're dormant.
Yeah, and that's why we seem to age so much faster, but we heal so much slower. You remember when we were a little, well, you may not remember when we were a little baby, but if you've got children, you see a young child, they cut themselves, they bruise themselves, they almost heal before your eyes. That's because when they are young, they're born, they have all their stem cells. But as Andrea just said, as we start to age, part of the aging process, they decline. And that's why our body struggles to heal as well as it does, well as it used to. So when we're talking about opportunity, so opportunity happens by creating solutions. So if we look at the problem is no one knows stem cells become dormant. I certainly didn't know that. I just thought, well, you get old, you get wrinkly. It's just part of the process. And we'll talk about that in a moment because it's quite significant, because when we see the wrinkling on the outside, and some of you young people on this call won't know what we're talking about, and they've got a lot of years before that happens. But the trouble is that's mirroring on the inside, because all our, well, I'll talk about that in a moment, but our internal organs are made up of collagen. And so as it's getting thinner on the outside, it's getting thinner on the inside. And the other side, if you're looking from a business perspective or a business opportunity, so many people are struggling financially. So then if we look at the solution, the X39 provides stem cell reactivation. It's a stem cell reactivation technology. It's a wearable light therapy, and it can be set up as a generational business because nobody in New Zealand really knows about this. We've been involved for about 8 months, and we're doing our best to get it across the country to as many people as we can through Australia and through other parts of the world. But virtually nobody that we talk to knows about it. So it's a ground floor. It just screams opportunity. So how does the X39 work? Look, it's a proprietary form of phototherapy. So inside this patch is some patented nanocrystal technology. And all that means is it's a lattice work of crystals, amino acids, hydrate. I think it was a hydrated oxygen, water. I've no idea, but but I just know it works. And how it works is almost like a prism. So if you can imagine when you shine light into a prism, it reflects off different colors. Well, what happens? Our body gives off heat and it gives off light. Now you can't see that with the naked eye, but if you go through under a topography map or a heat map, you can see this. So what David Smith, the genius, is that he's figured out that if you can reflect some of that light that's leaving your body and reflect it back in at a certain frequency, it will elevate a peptide called the GHK-Cu copper peptide, which has been proven for decades and decades to elevate the GHK in the body, which then will reactivate those dormant stem cells. Other things that it does, the science in behind elevating the GHK, and this is studied outside LifeWave. This has been going on since 1973. They really started to get a handle on this particular peptide. Was that it will turn genes on, damaged genes. As we get older, genes become damaged, and that is part of the decline, aging decline. It repairs those, and it will turn certain genes off, damaging genes, cancer-producing genes. So it's an incredible peptide. So by elevating that, sending a signal to our stem cells to come back to life, then our body can go about healing itself in incredible ways. Probably the best way to describe this is going out in the sun is phototherapy. You stay there too long, you're going to get sunburned. But if you go into the sun's rays elevate the vitamin D in your body. So there's no vitamin D in the sun's rays. It elevates the vitamin D in your body, just as there's nothing in this patch. It's completely non-transdermal. Nothing enters the bloodstream. There's no chemicals, no drugs, no stimulants. It's just reflecting your light back, creating a biomechanical or chemical reaction. And so, look, a lot of the benefits that we've noticed, and if I go down the left side, certainly increased strength. So I'm as strong as I've ever been. I'm lifting weights that I used to lift 15 years ago. And I know the difference in me because I've always been active and I've always been in the gym. I recover so much quicker. reduced inflammation. I had inflammation I had a shoulder tear, which I couldn't get on top of for 2.5 years. 3.5 weeks in, my body had healed that. But also I had a lot of inflammation around my shoulder, around my elbow. That just went, because inflammation inhibits healing, gets in the brain, creates cognitive decline, or sets off cognitive decline, sets off arthritis in the joints. So that's one of the major things, is the reduced inflammation, increased stamina, energy and vitality.
Mental clarity. So mental clarity, I believe, is a big one. So going through menopause, we live in a brain fog. That's certainly cleared as well. Now, I have a 25-year-old son who has dyspraxia, and so he's on the spectrum. So absolutely nothing wrong with him, really, but his mind was in a fog. And the difference I've noticed with him, especially recently, like he works a manual job, and so he gets long hours, very tired, but he's just coping so well. I'm so proud of him, and I can just see the difference so much in him. Restored muscle and skeletal condition, improved sleep. I mean, the other day I slept 9 hours. I don't sleep 9 hours, so it's lovely. And improved skin appearance.
And so, look, the long-term results. So within the first few days, over 4,000 genes began to reset to a younger age. After about 3 weeks, the brain becomes balanced. And we've seen that a lot with some of our neurodiverse friends, people with ADHD, dyspraxia, Asperger's. We've even seen non-verbal autistic children, or even adults, being able to utter some words. Within 3 months, the collagen starts to come back. And why that's so important is I was talking about, as our collagen declines and becomes thinner, and we start to have wrinkles, that's because the GHK has reduced by 60% by age 60, and our stem cells have declined by 90% by age 60. So the scary part, that's happening on the inside of our body as well. So if you can bring back the collagen on the outside, it's all nice to look good, but bringing it back on the inside produces phenomenal health benefits. And after 6 months, it was shown that the average heart reversal, biological heart age reversal, was 8 years, which is phenomenal. I mean, I wouldn't mind. Well, I have got an 8-year younger heart, because I've been using it more than 6 months. And I feel that. And I believe that's because the collagen has just started to come back. And this is a topography map. This is a 77-year-old woman. And you can see on the left, the red is that is inflammation in her brain. Now, that is a serious warning sign that, heading to cognitive decline, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, dementia, that type of thing. But just wearing the X39, after 3 weeks, it had all but gone. And after 6 weeks, it had completely gone, doing nothing but wearing the X39. And there were a number of medical professionals that looked at this graph. They were just completely blown away.
So how do we wear X39? Very simple. 12 hours on, preferably through the day, because we need to hydrate it. So they need to have lots of water, lots of electrolytes. Celtic salt's really good for them. And then take it off at night. So I put it on the back of my dog's collar, just to give him a little bit of energy as well, but just 12 hours on and then 12 hours off. You put it on the back of your neck on the C7, or just below your belly button, or to be fair, you can actually put it just anywhere on your body. If it's aching somewhere, you can put it there as well.
And you want to wear it for several months.
Oh, absolutely. So you wear it to get maximum benefit. You wear it for 1 month for every decade you are old. But look, it's like a supplement. You're not going to stop taking your supplement. So why should you stop taking this? Because you do feel so good with it.
And look, we can go on, but what I really love to do is actually just get people to come on, different people to come on and share their personal testimony and what the real life situation with them. So I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to ask Ray if you wouldn't mind just coming on, Ray, if you want to just unmute yourself and just share what you've just discovered.
Sure. So a few months ago, I got diagnosed with a blood sugar level of 117. Supposed to be 0 to 40. So I walked into the clinic in Queenstown and they go, "How are you feeling?" I went, "Great. What's going on?" So within 2 minutes, I was in front of a nurse that was stabbing me in the thumb, taking some blood. 3 minutes later, in front of this doctor. And she goes, "Do you know what you're doing to yourself?" And I went, "No, I feel great." And she explained to me that if I continued the way I was, I'd be on kidney dialysis and possibly die. So that was a bit of a wake up. So she threw me some metformin, about 360 tablets, which I thought was going to sink the Bismarck. And I thought, okay. So I did those for about a month and then found out metformin is a pancreatic cancer sort of accelerant. So I threw them out and started using the X39 along with SB6. So just the other day, excuse me, my level was 60. So come down from 117 to 60. Obviously feel better than great now because I felt great before, but not knowing what was going on inside the body. And I think that's something really important to consider, is that we may feel good, but we actually don't know what's going on inside. Some of the clients that we've got, I got a text the other day, lady's been suffering from menopause, hot flushes, not sleeping during the night, sent me a text raving about since she's been patching, no hot flushes, sleeping during the night. Set up another person last week, and they were from the CrossFit Nationals, and the wife, they took quite a few patches off me straight away. And the following day I rang up just to see how things were going, and he goes, I don't know what's in these, but my wife got out of bed skipping and dancing and singing. Like he said, she hasn't done this for 10 to 15 years. So, if you're not involved in using the patches at the moment, I stress absolutely sincerely to get involved because they are life-changing.
And I think the exciting thing, Ray, with the probably the medical world, I'm not a doctor and I don't profess to be one, but I'm sure a doctor would be happy that you come down from 117 to 64 with the drugs. But to come down from 117 to 64, I think you said 64.
No, 60. Don't put me up. 60.
To 60. And that's with no drugs, and that is just using the X39 and looking after yourself, of course.
And I didn't have the heart to tell him it wasn't his metformin tablets, but I will, because the raving text he gave me is probably about that long on my phone about everything is normal. He was really happy with the fact that I've lost nearly 50%. So yeah, I tell physiotherapists, I tell doctors now, I tell everybody, because everybody either needs to get healthy or wealthy.
Yeah,
both.
Hey, thanks, mate. That's really cool, and I'm wrapped for you. And I can see the change in you too. You're looking fantastic, buddy.
Thank you.
Cool. All right, let's jump back into the presentation.
So you'll see lots of testimonials around. So this is just a few of them here. So we've got a lady there in the left-hand corner. She's got scoliosis. So she went from a curved back to straight and aligned. A young man hurt himself out snowboarding, had a job interview 3 days later, but luckily his face sort of cleared up before the interview. A lady's gone from puffy with all the allergies that she was having to a bright, clear skin. Crushed nerve supply causing pain and numbness is going perfectly. It's flowing now, the nerve system. Little boy's finger cut off, sewn back on, and 2 months of X39 and the finger grew back, and the burning painful skin goes clear and calm. And then we have, I'll just use Chris as an example, not that he was going bald, because he keeps on having me on about this photo, but his hair has got so much darker because he was going quite grey, but now I can't believe how dark he's got now. It's amazing. And I mean, he just about needs his haircut every 3 weeks now. It's just growing so fast.
I have my fingernails.
Yeah. Open heart surgery, just the people, the ladies' collagen as well, the turtleneck, and from assisted living to the RV traveling life now. So it's fantastic. And then we've got here.
And I think just before we leave the slide, the important thing to me is these changes in the external are also being mirrored on the inside.
So there's lots of testimonials out there. And also if you go onto YouTube, you can hear from the different doctors as well. So you can go in there and have a look. Dr. Stacey, you'll see her a lot on either YouTube or through the social media on Facebook or things like that. So she's really interesting to listen to. But we receive good news stories every day, and I know like Ray does and Dean does as well, because I've been doing it for a few months. But the thing is as well is that I know a lot of people say, look, we just want to try it, which is fantastic. and we want you to try it. But everybody's got something different that is, I won't say it's wrong with them, because menopause, it's not wrong with me. It's just part of life. It's just what it was. But everybody's got something different going on. And I think it's too good a product to keep it to yourself, to think that, well, I'll put it out there when I feel good. But what happens if someone's got something else that's wrong with them and it could help them? Don't hide it.
Yeah,
Spread it.
what if we hadn't shared it with Ray?
Yeah.
You know, and so he wouldn't know any different. He'd have to be on those drugs. So look, if you're brand new here, go and have a look at thisisit.com. Thisitinfo.com. And in there, it's a great website. There's some videos on the front page. The first 3 videos are really good. David Smith is talks about light therapy. You can go down and see what doctors are saying, and why they recommend it to their clients. And then there's some the patents are in there. There's testimonials. There's so many testimonials from our colleagues and friends in America. But I just want to talk about where the company is heading. Now, this is a 20-year-old company. This is not something just popped up, fly-by-night company that goes, hey, we've got a great idea. Let's design a patch that reactivates dormant stem cells and go to market. This has been in the making since the early 2000s. It first started with the Navy SEALs, where David Smith was contracted to the Navy SEALs to find a solution, because when they're underwater and away from light for long periods of time, their health was declining, and they were using amphetamines to bring it up. So that's where the whole journey started. 9/11 come along, and then the funding was pulled out of that. David Smith moved into the private sector. But this company has been around 20 years. It's in now over 80 different countries, I believe. In 2021, it turned over $20 million US. Now, it's not a bad chunk of change. I wouldn't mind a $20 million US company, but look what happened in the next 4 or 5 years. 2024, last year, turned over 600 million. Now, that is a 3,000% growth trajectory. This year, it's going to turn over $1 billion. It is the #1 momentum company in the direct selling space, year on year. And so what this allows, the LifeWave has got an incredible system that allows you to duplicate your efforts. It's very similar to having a franchise. When you enroll with the company, it costs you nothing to join the company. You'll just get an enrollment pack. Would be first 3, 6, 9, or 20 sleeves. But it is very much like a franchise. You know, most franchises cost a fortune. I mean, I don't know what a McDonald's franchise would cost today, but I know it used to cost over $1 million. You know, there's a lot of simpler, smaller franchises that cost $50,000, $100,000. This one, you get started on a credit card. The maximum you can pay would be about 3,000 New Zealand dollars to get fully up and running your own business. And that's not a joining fee. That is getting your first few sleeves. So everyone can build this and achieve their lifestyle dreams.
So what are your dreams? What is important in your life? Is it more family time, security, more travel, better health, less debt? You can have it all.
And I think the thing for Andrea and I, look, we do pretty well in our traditional businesses. We run multiple businesses, but we're so tied to it. At the time, we were doing 80 hours plus, weren't we? And probably still do at the moment, but we're reorganizing that. That's what we saw in this. What a wonderful opportunity. You know, first to market, being able to set this up and be able to buy back some of our time. So if we look at the compensation plan, this is a direct sales business, and it was set up that way on purpose. David Smith didn't want anybody to not be able to afford the product. So it works out about $6.50 New Zealand a day. So less than a cup of coffee a day. I've had a cup of coffees today and a smoothie, way more than this. And it comes in a sleeve. A month's supply is 99 US, but not everyone can afford 99 US a month. I mean, I would implore people to find it so for their own personal health outcomes, because the impact on their health is just, you can't put a price on what this will do for your own personal health. But David Smith wanted to set up the direct sales channel. So instead of spending millions of dollars in advertising, wholesaler, retailer, getting to the consumer, 4, 5, 6 times the price that we can get it directly from the company, he said, well, look, if you refer some business to me, I'll pay you a referral bonus, and that'll cover the cost of your product. So if somebody really comes, and we build this in teams, we use a unilateral binary system, and which means we build two teams. We build a left team and a right team. So we got family and friends. The first 3 or 4 people that care, love, or that they love, care, and trust you, and say, hey, look, I've come upon this incredible health product. Why don't you try it? Put them in the system, either in the left team or the right team. But with the team bonus, there's 9 different ways of making money in this. But this is just how you build the framework, starting with 4 people. That overall team binary bonus sort of maxes out at $25,000 a week. And someone says, oh, maxes out. Yeah, $25,000 a week. If you figure out what 25,000 US a week is,
Nice.
it's a lot of money. It's about 1.5 million New Zealand a year. But look, to get people started, there's some upfront incomes, and it's just really an incentive to get people started quickly. So if you put 1 person on your left team or 1 person in your right team, you become what was called a 1-star manager. If you can do that quickly within 48 hours, and they'll be on the advanced pack, which we'll talk about in a moment, they'll pay you $25 US for the next 9 weeks. And then the rest of the bonus will kick in. Trust me, there's a lot more money than $25 a week. But then the second goal, then, just to quickly put another 2 in, 1 left, 1 right. Now you've got 4 people in your team. And if you do that, they're going to pay immediately $50 a week for the next 9 weeks. That just allows somebody to get going, get started, and before the actual volume bonuses kick in. Then there is matching bonuses. And look, I'm not going to really get too deep into this, but as you invite brand partners to enjoy your personal brand partners, you then get to share in the income that they bring and that they generate. And you can generate up to $20,000 a person, down to, I think, 6 generations deep. So, and that's on top of the binary bonus. So in essence, there's a lot of money to be made in this for people that actually want to run this as a professional business. So if we look at the difference between conventional businesses and the LifeWave business, a conventional business is high startup costs. Now, I've been in business for over 40 years. Apart from 6 months, I've never worked for anybody. I've always started my own businesses. I've built some very successful businesses. Andrea and I have just built a multi-million-dollar business, both in revenue and value. We've built previous businesses that are multi-million-dollar businesses. But you've got to invest hundreds of thousands, ultimately millions of dollars, to be able to generate a business with us. You can start this on a credit card for less than $3,000. Might only be $1,000 if you come on the advanced pack. There's a high risk in business, and the stress when you've got to pay. I mean, even today, we've got to find $20,000 a week to pay our staff. That's before we can turn a profit. So that puts you at risk, puts you at stress. Here, there's no risk. It's stress-free because you have no employees. You don't pay anybody. You don't carry stock, apart from maybe a little bit of rolling stock, maybe a half a dozen or a dozen of these sleeves. As I said, we work long hours. This one you'd fit in with the nooks and crannies. Tessa says you fit them into the nooks and crannies of your life. So you do it part-time initially. You might want to do it full-time later on. Trial and error. We've got a huge learning curve, and there's very limited earning potential in a conventional business. Here, there's a proven system, incredible mentorship, and there is unlimited earning potentials, as you've seen. So how do you get started? Excuse me. As I said, it costs you nothing to join the company. There's no join up. I think it's $25 to join up. There's nothing to join the company. But what you do is you enroll in one of the introductory packs, either the core pack, which gives you 3 sleeves. Now, remember, a sleeve is $99 US, so $295. That's that divided by 3 and a $5 discount. Or it could be advanced, where you would be getting 6 sleeves, and that works out at $535 US. And so, I mean, that's where initially we first came in. And then, because I said I wasn't going to build this, I just saw this as a health opportunity. And I said, well, that's one for me. It's one for Andrea. We're going to give a couple to the kids. Or you can come in at Advanced Plus, which is a really good business building. This is the genuine business building level to come in at, and you're going to get 11 sleeves. And then what we did is straight away, within 2 or 3 weeks, we saw the opportunity decided to run with it, we immediately upgraded to premium. Or you could come into premium straight away. And that'd be for someone who's got a really big family, want to share the sleeves around the family, or they needed a little bit of rolling stock. So when someone joins up, for example, it takes 8 to 10 days for the product to arrive. So I would just give them one of these sleeves and I'll get that back. Get that back when theirs arrives. But the other important thing is just you'd sign up on a monthly subscription. If you want to build the business, you'd sign up on a 2-sleeve subscription, because this is a subscription business. It's like Netflix. If you just bought a movie every now and then, Netflix, it wouldn't work for Netflix, Sky, that type of thing. They're subscription businesses. This is a subscription business, because you don't want people going without sleeves, because, you know, then they drop off and they miss their health benefits. So a single might come in on a 1-sleeve subscription, where a couple would definitely come in on a 2-sleeve subscription. So if you were just wanting to just sample the product, you're probably coming in core. If you're wanting to experience a bit more advanced, if you want to be a business builder, I would come in advanced plus or premium. So just the penultimate slide is really just, go and have a look at This Is It info. If you're just checking this out, really have a good look through that. You can look at it on your phone, or you can look at it on the computer. But don't do proper research through here. Don't jump on Google. All the health professionals that we've brought on board, we've brought doctors on board and other medical practitioners. They said you never look at Google or ChatGPT. It's opinion based, so it's biased. You're not going to get facts. Go to the source to get the facts, and that's what they did. They're used to researching. They know where to research, and they research. And This Is It info. This Is It team is like your online university on how to build the business. Everything you need to know step by step is in there.
So the time is now to make your move. So are you serious about your dream? This is the hope for the future. And the stories that we're hearing, honestly, they are just amazing. Absolutely amazing.
And look, I would have to say, as I said, I've been in business 40 years. I've seen so many business opportunities come and go. And I've seen some good ones and I've seen some bad ones. This would have to be the single best wealth creation tool I have ever seen in the whole 40 years of business. And I've been around a lot of successful people, and I've seen a lot of great ideas, because we've got a world-class product. It's a patented technology. It is world-class. No one else has it. It is patented, so nobody else can access it. We have an incredible system, but the timing could not be better. We are first to market in New Zealand. We're pretty much first to market in Australia, and it's still relatively new, even in America and Europe. So the timing could not better. We talk about opportunity and timing. This is the best opportunity I've ever seen, and it is the perfect timing.